Today we're crocheting a mini octopus, and for this pattern you don't need to do any sewing and you don't need any stuffing. And this is actually a great project for newer crocheters because it's such a small project, you can finish it quickly and it uses basic stitches, and I go over every new stitch that we come across. You can find the free written pattern at vivcrochets.com or at the link in the description box below, and if you do enjoy this tutorial, please leave a like or comment to let me know. Thanks so much, and let's get started. For this project, I used just under 10 grams of Casey Essential Cotton yarn in the color Lavender Field. And this is a number 3 or a lightweight yarn. And this yarn is made for garments, and my octopus came out a little bit floppier, but I did like the color, which is why I chose it. You can use any yarn you want, and I would recommend using a stiffer yarn like this one. This one is the Re-Up Bonus Bundle yarn, and it is stiffer so the octopus holds its shape better. And I also used a smaller hook size, so that'll also help with making it stiffer. So I used a 4mm hook, some scissors, a yarn needle, and 2 6mm safety eyes. So we're going to start off with a magic ring, and to make a magic ring we're going to place the yarn in our hand with the tail end at the bottom. Then grab the yarn with your thumb and wrap the top around 2 fingers to form an X. And then hold the yarn with your pinky. And then we'll grab our hook, go under one side of the X, over, grab the other side, and pull it through. Then we're going to take our thumb and our first finger on our right hand, and we're going to grab the yarn and the hook. So like that, and pull it off of our fingers. And make sure this tail doesn't go through the ring. So now we have our magic ring, and you can tighten it by pulling on the tail to make it a little smaller and easier to work with. Now we have this ring to work into, and we can start our first round. So first we're going to chain 1, and to chain 1 we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. And then we're going to do 6 single crochets into this ring. And to do a single crochet, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through. Now you should have 2 loops on your hook. We'll yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So that's our first single crochet. Again, to do another single crochet, insert your hook back into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. So now we have 2 single crochets, and we'll do 4 more until we have a total of 6. So now we have 6 single crochets, and you can count them by using these V's around the outside. So here's our first one, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to take this tail and we're going to pull on it, and that'll close the ring. And then to complete the round, and we'll do this at the end of every single round, we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet we made. To find the first one, you can count backwards from this V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the very first single crochet that we made. So we're going to go under this V. So go under these 2 loops with your hook. So there's one side of the V, and then the other side. So like that. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through, and then pull the first loop through the second loop. Like that. And we're going to tighten the slip stitch. So that makes the slip stitch really small, and we don't mistake it for a stitch. So there's round 1, And to start round 2 and every new round, we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do an increase into every single stitch of this round. So an increase just means you're putting 2 stitches into 1 stitch. So the very first stitch of every new round is going to be that same stitch that we slip stitch to. So this V right here, we're going to go back into this stitch. So go back under those 2 loops that make that V. And then we're going to do a single crochet. So again, we're doing an increase into every single stitch. So we're going to go back into that same stitch and do a second single crochet. So now this very first stitch of the round has 2 single crochets in it. And now we can move on to the next stitch. So this next V right here. And we're going to go under the 2 loops of that V and do a single crochet. And then go back into that same stitch and do another single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. So we'll move on to the next stitch and we'll also do an increase. So 1 and then 2 single crochets into that same stitch. And we'll just do that all the way around. So after working into all 6 stitches, you should have a total of 12 stitches in this round. And make sure you don't work into the slip stitch right here. It kind of looks like a stitch, but we pull it really tight so it gets really small and you don't mistake it for a stitch. So if you happen to have 14 stitches instead of 12, then you might have worked into the slip stitch. So again, at the end of every round, we're going to slip stitch to the very first stitch we made. So you can count backwards again, or you can just look over here and look for the very first V. So this one right here, we're going to go under that stitch, yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook, and that's our slip stitch, and we're going to tighten it so it gets really small. So tighten it. So here is round 2. Now for round 3, we're going to chain 1 as always. And then in this round is a little bit different. We're going to do just 1 single crochet into the first stitch. And then in the next stitch, we'll do an increase. So that's the pattern for this round. Just a single crochet and then an increase. A single crochet and then an increase. So the very first stitch, again, that's the stitch we just slip stitched to. Go back into that stitch and do just 1 single crochet. And then move on to the next stitch. And we're going to do an increase. So in this stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets. So that's the pattern we're repeating this round. 1 and then 2. So the next stitch we'll do just 1 single crochet and then 2 into the next stitch. And we'll repeat that all the way around. And your very last stitch should line up to be an increase. And at the end of this round, we should have a total of 18 stitches. Again, we're going to slip stitch to the very first stitch of this round. And there is our third round. And now we can do our 4th round. So we'll chain 1. In this round, we're going to do just 1 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet, and then an increase. So this pattern, this round is going to be 1, 1, and then 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So the first stitch, we're going to do just 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch we'll do 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch we'll do 2 single crochets. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. And at the end of round 4, we should have a total of 24 stitches. Then we'll do our slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. And there is round 4. Now for the next 4 rounds, rounds 5 to 8, we're going to chain 1 and do only 1 single crochet into each stitch. So no increases in rounds 5 to 8. And since we're no longer increasing, it should start to curl. And after going all the way around with no increases, so that means we should have 24 stitches in this round, and we can slip stitch. And you can see how it's curling upwards. We're going to flip it the other way so it's curling down. And there is our 5th round. And again, for the next 3 rounds, we're going to be repeating this last round. And again, that's chain 1, single crochet all the way around, and slip stitch at the end. So once you have 8 rounds, it should look like this. And now we're going to work on the arms of the octopus. So first, we're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to be working into this chain. So first we're going to do a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So this one is the first chain from the hook. This one is the second. So we're going to go into this V and just under the top loop. Then we'll do a single crochet. And then in this next chain, we're going to do another single crochet. And then in the next chain, we're going to do a half double crochet. And to do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into this chain, yarn over, pull through, and we should have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then in the next chain we'll do another half double crochet. So again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then in the next chain we'll do a double crochet. So for a double crochet we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, and again we have these 3 loops on our hook, but we're going to yarn over and pull through only 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Finally, in our last chain, we're going to do a treble crochet. And a treble crochet, we're going to yarn over 2 times. So yarn over once, and then twice. Then go into this chain, yarn over, pull through, and we should have 4 loops on our hook. And we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So here's our first arm, and we need to connect it to the 8th round. We're going to look at where the arm connects to the 8th round. So at our slip stitch, And after our slip stitch, we're going to skip over 2 more stitches. So 1, 2, and then in this stitch, we're going to slip stitch. So again, where the tentacle meets the last round, we're going to skip this stitch and then also skip 2 more. And then we'll slip stitch into this stitch right here. So go over and do a slip stitch. And now it's connected to the 8th round. And we're going to repeat this to make 8 arms all the way around. So again, we're going to chain 7. And we're going to do a single crochet into the 2nd chain from the hook. And then a single crochet into the next chain. And then a half double crochet into the next chain. And another half double crochet. And then a double crochet in the next chain. So again, that's yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And in the final chain is our treble crochet. So again, that's yarn over 2 times, insert your hook into the final chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now, just like with the first tentacle, we need to connect it to our 8th round. So we're going to look at where the tentacle is already connected right here. We're going to skip this stitch and also 1 and 2, and in the next we'll slip stitch. And now it's connected too. And we're going to do that for a total of 8 times, just so that the placement of the slip stitches is clear. We have a slip stitch in this stitch right here, and then under the arm we skip 2 stitches, and then we have a slip stitch in the next stitch. And again, we have that slip stitch, we skip 2, and we have our next slip stitch. For the 8th and final arm, we're going to have 2 stitches left after the slip stitch. We're going to skip over these 2 completely, and we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch that we slip stitched to in round 8. And it's under the very first arm that we made. Right here, we're going to go under that stitch and then do a slip stitch. And now we can fasten off. So we can just cut our yarn and pull through with our hook. Then we just need to weave in our loose ends and put in our eyes. So we're going to grab our yarn needle and we'll take the loose end and thread it into the yarn needle. And I'm going to flip the octopus inside out just to make it a little bit easier to reach this loose end too. And we're going to hide the loose end by going under the loops of our stitches. So first I'll go up towards the single crochets over here. So just under any loops. Just go up, and we're just going to put our needle through all these loops. So like that, and then we can pull our needle through and just tighten it so that it's taut, like that. And you can keep going under loops to make it extra secure, but this is enough for me, and we can trim off the excess. And we'll do the same for this one. We're going to first tighten it again because the magic ring might have opened up a little bit. So just tighten it and then thread it into your yarn needle. And just like with earlier, we're just going to go under any loops. Then pull it through. And just trim off the rest of the loose end. Then we can turn it back inside out. And finally we can add in our safety eyes. And I'm going to put mine in just under the 5th round. So you can go anywhere around. I like to look for the slip stitch seam. So you can see it's kind of noticeable, the seam right here where we slip stitch every round. I like to make that the back. So I'll turn it and make this the front. And then I'm going to count down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and under our 5th round, we're going to put our safety eye. And then for the next one, I'm going to count 2 spaces in between the eyes. So that would be this one. And you can play around with the placement to get the look that you want. But if you're happy with how it looks, we can fasten the eyes. And our octopus is done. And that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Quick shout out to channel members Mai, Amarachi, Camellia, Kayla, Taylor, Casey, Allison, Eilish, Nadine, Joy, and Stacy. You can become a member of this channel and have these little yarn ball badges next to your name whenever you comment, and other perks such as member shoutouts, early access to new videos, discount codes from my Etsy, help with any of my patterns, and connecting on social media. Thank you again to all my channel members, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.